Well, guys, good morning. A little cold out there today. Welcome to ATI Pro Media. Hopefully you guys can thaw out and join us here today. We got a good show for you today. Excited to bring today's news today, talk about headlines here. Going to talk some a headline here from ATI Research, talk a little bit about beans, talk about wheat. We got crop insurance price discovery update, going to talk cattle markets, cattle on feed report tomorrow. And we'll review what we did on premium yesterday. A lot going on here. Without further ado, let's jump in, check in where your markets are at, and then I'll bring my friend Connor B in, and we'll break everything down. All right, March corn up 2 cents, $4.99.5, testing $5 level again. March beans up 6 3/4 at $10.38.5. Soy oil is up 58 points, $47. Soy meal up 50 cents, $303.60. Looking at your wheat market, March Chicago wheat down 3.5 cents, $5.88.5. March beans down 2.5, $6.11.25. Over in your feeder cattle, leaking weaker on the feeder cattle. Not a pretty price day here out of the gate. March feeders down $1.70, $2.67 on your fat cattle, down 85 points in the Feb, down $1.17 on the April. Hogs are up 47 points at $90 on the April contract. Crude oil is up 35. Diesel's up 4 cents. Nat gas has been everywhere. We got to look at a nat gas chart, down 15 cents today. But what a chart, parabolic type of move. We're going to throw that up and make sure we get it in here. The stock market is rolling over some pressure on the Dow, down 400 points. The S&P down 55, and the NASDAQ down 270. Connor B, get on in here. Let's break things down. I had to open with that gift. That was just that's fitting for today.
That's how I feel, right? Truck said 2 degrees, I think, or something. What's it in Kansas right now?
We're cold. I got a map here I'm going to flash up for y'all. Current temps at 7:20 this morning, and I don't think it's warmed up too much here. But the deep south, look at the deep south down there, 10 degrees, 12 degrees in Oklahoma, Texas area. We were -3, -4 this morning in Dodge City, Kansas. And then the Dakotas, Iowa, some -22 up in Nebraska.
My gosh.
Actual air temps, too. And that doesn't include the wind chill, Connor.
Oh, that's cold. So,
but the guy's got to be optimistic, though, Connor. I'm excited for that. We talked about this 3 times here already today. Might as well talk about it again today. Monday's temps. Look at this. Nice and toasty out there. 70 degrees in western Kansas.
Gosh. What a flip. You're going to be in a tank top. You're not going to know what to do with it.
Tank top and flip-flops. Tis the season. We're going to get all 4 seasons in 1 week, Connor B. We'll have fall, winter, spring, and summer in 1 week.
Unbelievable. But that's the Midwest for you, I guess.
It is. Yeah.
I don't know. Did you quote, when you were quoting up, did you quote up gold?
I did not know. Yeah, we got to talk about that. Yeah, 29,024 on the Feb contract, up 480. April's up 18.5, 29.54.
So is that a record? If it's not a record, it's close. I mean, I don't look at the gold or everything, but I saw a funny headline that Trump's ready. I don't know if it's funny, but it coincides perfectly with the record gold prices that Trump's ready to check Fort Knox to make sure all the gold is there. So audit of Fort Knox, make sure all the gold is accounted for, right? When that commodity gets expensive, it's like when we see $7 corn, right? We got to make sure we're measuring those bins a little bit closer than we did at $3 corn, right?
Right. Yeah. And you do a little extra sweeping when you clean it out, right? Make sure you get every bit on. You know what's that worth? I'm afraid when Trump goes in and looks at Fort Knox, maybe he'll hopefully doesn't find a bunch of IOUs out there.
Those are IOUs.
Those are as good as money, sir. You're going to want to hold on to that one.
Yeah. That's great. That's great. All right, let's jump into it. What do we got?
All right. Well, headline here out of the gate, ATI Research puts out what's caught my eye, and I like this. Brazil states, a couple of states implement an export tax, and some considering, a couple of others considering it, but still the U.S., price advantage goes to Brazil on the U.S. front, but an export tax in the talks in the Brazil states of Para and Maranhão. I don't know how to say these states.
You nailed it.
Nailed it. All right. And then there's 2 other states that are also looking at a similar tax, but $12 to $13 metric ton. But still, from ATI Research, they note that Brazil retains an $18 to $19 metric ton advantage versus U.S. Gulf beans to China, and that's equivalent of about 50 cents, Connor. So interesting headline there.
even with an export tax, there's still the bid. And then also, if I understand this right, it's state by state. So until we hear like Mato Grosso, Parina, or however you say that one, right? Those big players like this matters, and anything that we can get to, any type of disruptions we get to that. Any type of South American exports, right? That usually it's going to bode well for us. So interesting to see, but probably a little early the game, don't you think?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we'll see how it all plays out. There's a lot of pieces to the puzzle, but it's one of those geopolitical type policy headlines that can disrupt trade and influence where things need to happen and where they need to go. So, worthwhile to point out, ATI Research always pumping out some good stuff on interesting tidbits out there.
Premium, maybe today or tomorrow, we'll see if we get him on schedule. But we're going to get Dr. Cruz in here, and those, I'll make sure to ask him that question. But then also, South America is going to be the focus. I feel like right now, we talk a lot. I talk a lot about Brazil, but the focus has got to be Argentina, right? We're talk about cold. I should have popped up a weather chart in Argentina because it is going to be hot there for the next 7 to 10 days. The polar opposite, pun intended, of where we are in the United States. So, but yeah, so that'd be a good premium topic. Always like to see his breakdown. There we go.
Good, Connor B with the good jokes there. Good stuff there. Yeah. Well, warm weather in South America, though. Argentina, I mean, as we finish up that crop or, on the tail end of that, but warmer weather would be welcome in the northern and central states. And I think we're Brazil, and I think we're starting to see some of that too, to maybe aid in the harvest pace and that getting that crop out and getting the corn crop, safrinha crop planted behind that. So you win some, you lose some type of headline there on that point.
Yep.
Speaking of warmer weather, 72% of Russian wheat has been drier than normal for the last 60 days. Ukraine wheat, 94%, according to T-Storm Weather, stat from him, 94% of Ukraine wheat drier than normal over the last 60 days, and 50% of U.S. wheat drier than normal as well. But all those crops in dormancy on the northern hemisphere will be breaking out of dormancy as we enter the spring months. If there's a time to be dry, it might be during the winter, but there's lots of chatter about winter kill. I'm I'll believe it when I see it type of guy when we get to these types of headlines. But keep an eye on weather, specifically in the Black Sea and in the U.S.
And, if we go back on the story on wheat, right, we saw that dryness in Russia. And when did that'd be a good chart to pop up? Chicago wheat, spring wheat, when we really saw that rally in the wheat market. It was May, June timeframe, right, Brady?
Yeah, April, May last year, we had a nice rally in the wheat complex. Wheat and corn both, but wheat really took the reins there. So
yeah.
There's some seasonality in I think this wheat market in all markets. There's some seasonality, and you got to be careful anchoring too much to it because it's never the same. But there's times of year when headlines and uncertainty can hit the market on a production side of things, and very much so in the spring side of things for northern hemisphere crops.
Yep, absolutely. That's exactly what I was going to say, is that every year's different, right? We've learned that very well on this corn and soybean market. And so when I'm talking about the big rally of the wheat crop last year, right, we're going to tread carefully. And so I think the other thing to keep in mind with that, with wheat exploded, the sell-off was just as extreme, right? Definition, I guess it's not a stair step up. It felt like an elevator up, elevator down when we look at that.
Definitely. Yeah. I'm going to pull the chart in here since we're talking about it. This is March KC wheat, looking at that graphic. So here's that rally you're talking about, Connor B. In April 20th timeframe, March KC trading 617 and rallied up to 770, 780 area. So $1.50 type move in wheat. But boy, howdy, did it just turn around and took it all back and then some following that.
That's, you got it when we're trading weather markets, you got to be ready for those violent swings. And that's the definition of one, right? It was really, the story was that dry. Seeing that, I think I'm cutting out a little bit.
Yep. Well, definitely.
But anyway, seeing that dryness in Russia, and then we ended up, the crop looked pretty good.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It can, those headlines can generate a rally, generate some short covering, generate funds to get long, and everybody wants to get on the same side of the boat, but it can tip one way too extreme too quickly, and it can give it all back very, very quickly as well too. So excellent chart to look at as you just kind of look at illustrate price volatility and opportunity, and how markets can do things that you don't expect. And the trend is your friend until it's not, and it's bullish until it's not. And when it decides to turn south, boy, howdy, it can turn south and not look back. I mean, there's two green candlesticks in this sell-off here, Connor B. That's a lot of down days in a row, starting in the end of May,
Absolutely.
going into harvest. So,
absolutely.
All right, hey, while we're on the topic of markets and stuff, crop insurance price discovery midway through that, corn pegging a 471 so far as of yesterday, and beans at 1057 as of yesterday. So just quick update on where your spring price discovery for those corn and bean crops are.
So look, I mean, last year we were at 466, so a little bit higher than last year on corn. Definitely right. What was soybeans again, Brady? Was it in the 11?
It was 1150 something last year.
Yeah.
It was, yeah. We did the Jeopardy round, and you almost nailed it yesterday, but 2 days ago.
So, yeah.
But you did pretty good though, considering all things. Yeah.
Well, and on crop insurance, right? You got to make a decision by March 14th. The big change. I'm sure your agent is telling you this. If he's not telling you, maybe you should think of getting a different agent. But the change in the ECO, right, are a lot more guys. Are we looking at going with an 80% revenue policy and then buying up the ECO? Right. I want to know. Right. What is the what looks good? What are we doing? Are we going? It feels like Arc County is going to be, more favorable than PLC, right? It's obviously depends on your operation stuff, but yeah, drop us what's going to work for crop insurance. Are you changing? Are you sticking to what you've always done? We always want to know.
Good stuff. Yeah, definitely curious. I wonder, regionality. It seems like there's definitely regionality on what people want to take out and have a tendency to take out. Remember, I'm not a I-state guy, but I remember in the northern edge of counties versus the southern edge of counties in Illinois, I've heard there's differences on just even in the range of county based on your yield, your soil type, range within that county. But I'd be very curious.
Absolutely. Brady, you go just a little bit that way is Shelby County. And the difference in the yield expectation, the yield range from northern Shelby County to southern Shelby County is unbelievable, right? You see some guys, if you farm generally in northern Shelby County, some of them consider you see more of those county policies, right? Just because they're pretty confident they can beat that county average. But no, absolutely right. Crop insurance is very regional, right? When I talk to a lot of guys like in Macon County or where we're headquartered in McLean County, right? You have some of those guys that don't take crop insurance out, right? They're pretty confident of their yields. Most of those guys don't have a whole lot of debt when they're doing that. But could you imagine being in North Dakota and talking about not taking crop insurance out?
Golly, that'd be something. But you know what? We like to keep it a little Western out there. So, manage your own risk accordingly.
Oh, good stuff. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Well, you want to give us a quick cattle update? I think we got a cattle feed report, right?
I don't want to, but we will. So cattle markets, I think they're kind of identifying where they want to go next. We've seen choice cutout roll over 12 consecutive days of week-to-week declines on the choice cutout. A lot of that attributed to the round in the chuck. Look at this graphic from Steiner Consulting here. The chuck and the round showing that sell-off there and the pressure there. The lean market has definitely propped these up, but seeing some pressure out of the gate here and attributing, I think they account for about 50%, 45 to 50% of the value of the cutout. So when they sell off, you got to pick up the slack somewhere else. And we haven't really seen that take place. So cutout softening up, rolling over, still elevated though up there. But when you talk about the crush between what the value of retail beef is, wholesale beef is, and what they got to pay for, if you're paying $2 for fats, I don't know if that level quite supports that. So packer margins are still in the red. We're seeing slaughter slow down a little bit. Weights are still very, very firm compared to a year ago. This cold weather is going to impact that. It's just difficult to put on pounds in this brutal cold snap. So you're going to maintain weights, but they're still very firm versus a year ago, 5 to 6% higher than where we were a year ago. So these cattle are bigger. You got slaughter kind of slowing down a little bit too. Got a cattle on feed report tomorrow, Connor. On feed estimates are, I'll flash that up there. I think I got a graphic of it. On feed estimate here, 99.3% is the average of analyst guess for the on feed Feb 1. Placements at 103. Big range in placement guesses, 98.6 to 106.1. Marketing is looking for a firm marketing number 102.2. Check out the discrepancy between the placements. That's going to be where all eyes are. But we'll see what gets printed there. A lot of outside stuff going on in your beef market. So I don't know. Cattle on feed reports are always important to, true up the numbers, but there's so much macro market stuff going on here that guys got to pay attention. LRP is a good tool, doing a lot of LRP stuff for unborn calves, protecting next year's calf crop. If you guys are interested in LRP, give us a call, hit us up. We'll cover a wide range of areas. We can talk through all the details of the specifics of what LRP is, how it settles, the specific tools you need to look at for your operation, as well as taking it that next level and helping you manage the markets as they move, embracing volatility. When you combine options with LRP, I'm not talking about subsidy harvesting. I'm talking about using LRP as a foundational tool for risk management and then managing the position as the market moves, and protecting equity in your policy. We saw that play out very, very well this last year, as anybody who bought LRP in the spring watched the July sell-off to, we sold off significantly into September, and guys had the ability to go out in those January, October, November, December, January policies and protect LRP equity, and then watch the market rally back up and sell great cash values for their feeder calves, and then have that LRP paid for with a strategy that we use to protect that equity out there. So,
yeah. Awesome. Great job. I think you do a great job of taking the LRP, when we're making sales, any type of option strategy, right? And putting them all together, right? So great stuff.
Appreciate that. Yeah. I want to throw that chart in real quick if I can, just to talk about briefly what this looks like. But if you bought, this is looking at 24 November feeder cattle, Connor, and we were 270, 250 plus all the way until, July timeframe, and then in July we sold off significantly down to the 227, 230 area. And that sell-off, if you had LRP in here, you had a lot of equity to protect in this area when we sold off there. So using a strategy to protect that equity as we rallied back up, when you finally marketed your cash, you were able to, I guess, have your cake or have your beef and eat it too, to say, and get a little corny on you. But
that's a good one.
Anyways,
good stuff.
Well, that's kind of what I got here for today on the cattle front. Moving pieces. If you want to talk about LRP or risk management on cattle, give us a call.
Yep, definitely. Other thing, I thought you did a nice premium just talking about that March options expiration. It is Friday. Have it on your calendar. What does that mean? Hopefully, if we've got some calls on, right, the conversation needs to be, or anything in the money, right? What are we doing with that, right? We gotta do something with it, manage it out. Cash it in. So Brady did a good job walking through that.
Thanks, Connor. Yep, applicable and tough decisions here right now. Markets had a nice run to it, and what do we need to be looking at going forward? Don't kind of watch out for your bias going forward. Is kind of my bottom line here. Is don't think that it can't keep running, and don't get too comfortable that it has to stay here either. So I always tell guys as we get into meeting season, Connor, the information you consume impacts your bias, and you got to be really careful what you watch on social media, what newsletters, headlines, what are they actually doing for you to help you make decisions? Or am I just selling you a newsletter to confirm how you feel, Connor? Am I just printing, you think the market's got to go up, it's got to be here, and I'm going to write some fancy words that says, you know what, Connor, you're a good farmer, you're a good job. Right. The market, you're always getting screwed over. These markets need to be higher. Yeah. What does it do for you at the end of the day, though, Connor? What does it do for you?
Exactly. Well, I'm bullish, so I'm going to read the news article that is also bullish, and we can go from there, right? Confirming the bias, right? Don't think I'm guilty of it as much as anyone, but that's I think that's what we try and do is manage that emotion, manage the risk, go from there.
Yeah, markets have a way of humbling everybody, and I think 97% of people who day trade fail. And you don't always hear about their failures. You just hear about them being a big shot day trader. So it ain't all roses out there. And at the end of the day, you got a cash crop, and we want to manage your risk on that cash crop. So let's dive into some comments and get the heck out of here, Connor.
Yep, here we go. Pop up Luke there, Joe. watching it snow right now. A true blizzard out there. Might be 3/4 of an inch on the ground. Luke's in North Carolina. 3/4 of an inch. Are they canceling school?
In Dodge, we've got 3 days of no school here. These kids, I don't know
my
what
God.
they're made of anymore. No school for 3 days.
And is that because of snow or just cold temps?
Cold temps mainly, yeah. Which I understand and I appreciate, but yeah. And in my day, back when I was, walking to school uphill both ways in a foot of snow, getting old, man. Gosh, they didn't school till like 7 in the morning, Connor. Now it's like 3 o'clock the day before school's out. So I don't know.
It's kind of sad, when we were in school, you woke up early, you watched the news, you watched the ticker, right, and saw if you could see Central A&M going across there. Now it's like you just get the text. My kids will never have that feeling, I guess. But
yeah, waiting up, seeing. I mean, I remember waiting at like 7 o'clock, 6:30 in the morning, sitting, waiting, watching the TV to see if they were going to cancel school. And occasionally they did right before school started. You're there, you're ready to go. And they say, nah, stay at home.
Oh, it's the best feeling in the world. All right, here's a comment from Rush. Following Brady's premium yesterday, I had a question. Where does the money that is spent to take a position go once it expires if it doesn't pay out? Good question. So, in commodity markets, futures markets, they're a zero-sum game. So if we bought an option, that means someone was willing to sell it. And so, if we had some 480 puts, 450 puts, they're going to expire, right? That option seller collected the premium.
Yep. Good point. Zero-sum game. I was thinking to answer the same way. Glad you took a stab at that and did that. Good job, Connor B. Don't have anything to add to that one.
Okay, here we go. Russ leaning towards going self-insured on crop insurance. I've never gotten a payment. Just think of all the premium you would save. And so, whatever works for you, if you're willing to take on that risk, right? I guess in terms of all insurance, not crop insurance, right? The best type of insurance is if you can manage self-insurance. The only thing with crop insurance is it is subsidized. I sure like knowing it's on there if we have a disaster, but good to hear, right? Is that the flavor that we're thinking of to go in no insurance? I don't know.
Yeah, it'd be interesting across all sectors of the insurance world how people choose to manage that risk and protect themselves. When you talk about homeowners insurance and the wildfires in California, who's getting, at the end of the day, somebody's going to pay for that. So is everybody's rates going to go up? And when you talk about crop insurance and everything else that falls in line there. But self-insurance, it's a bold strategy. Russ Ranch, we'll see. Let's get an update here down the road. I like it.
At least consider. I would at least, if you're not going to go with that max 85% revenue policy, buy up on ECO, right? I get that. I'd look at the yield only policies, right? They're very cheap and at least get something. But we're risk managers, so I always go for the less risky option, I guess.
Yeah. Well, and if you're going to have an aggressive marketing plan, having a, crop insurance is a vital part to go back you up on that. And it's not necessarily to protect price, but to protect the bushels that you're going to go out and forward sell and forward contracts, so that if you don't raise them, if you have a production problem, that you can actually have that crop insurance there, the harvest price option that backs you up if you have a problem and don't have the bushels out there. Well, there's still basis risk with that. And sometimes that can really, you get into that situation and it can be dynamic. But all right. What else we got to talk about here today, Connor B? Oh, Walmart, they had forward guidance disappoints. They did good earnings. Those are some macro market notes that I had. Talk about a Doge dividend. Trump and Elon Musk talking about paying people $5,000 for the money.
That. That'll cure inflation, right?
Yo, maybe that's why gold's up here at 3,000. But interesting stuff. I don't know. That was a heck of a headline there. Then you got Zelensky, Trump, Black Sea type stuff. We talked about the Ukraine deal, but Zelensky and Trump exchanging some blows there politically on who's in favor and who's some dynamic stuff going on there. Watch the dollar. Dollar's kind of softening up here. Been on a heck of a slide here. That's kind of some underlying support for your commodities with the dollar weakening up and softening. But I don't know. That's all I got here today, Connor B.
Good stuff. Let's wrap it up and everyone have a great day. Try and stay warm.
Yeah.
We'll see everyone tomorrow, right?
Yep. Thanks for joining us. I'm going to click the button and we'll get out of here. See you, Connor B. Y'all have a good one.